Welcome to Indy Crit. Little hello from the rear camera there. This is the second day of the Momentum Health Indianapolis Criterium weekend. It was kind of a box with a diagonal first little turn stretch. Um, the finale, the last turn, is kind of a sharp chicane with a curve on the inside. So you come down through three corners to go, which is the tightest corner, and then this is the final corner with those cones on the inside. That'll be important a bit later. The race was pretty fast. From the gun, I guess like 2 laps in, I sent an attack, and then a lap or two later, a group of 6 or 7 guys got away. One of those being my teammate Cade, and the group was responding in kind of a strange way behind, where there would be like one guy at a time attacking. You can see there one of the Above and Beyond Cancer guys sending it and giving a strong like acceleration into that stretch there. But me and Texas Roadhouse here, Legion, we all had guys in the break. I think it was Sam Boardman from Texas Roadhouse, and then Kyle from excuse me, Texas Roadhouse had Kyle, and then Sam Boardman was on Legion in the break there. And then also in the break was Miami Blazers, so there was good representation, and everybody was kind of willing to block for it, but the road is wide, so you can see our dudes up here, me and John, Colby, and I think Cade's up there, maybe Sam, just kind of blocking, patrolling the front. Texas Roadhouse is doing the same thing. Here, Austin Aviators is moving to the front just to try and pull back, because they were one of the few teams that didn't have a guy in the move, but they were never doing an organized chase of any sort. Coming into this final corner was actually a good spot to attack. You can see Texas Roadhouse is kind of welding stuff back there. There were, little solo moves like this that would go. I actually just hopped on the front for like half a lap there. You can hear me right here, kind of on the front, pulling that back at like a medium pace. And then eventually guys would go over the top of me on that back stretch here and pull that little break back. There was Ty Magner attacking. Kind of thought that was interesting. Just kind of trying to bridge the gap. Was never too big. There's Robin Carpenter on Legion also attacking. The gap was never too big to the break, so giving like a big acceleration into that gap, trying to solo bridge, was a move that like could pay off, but the motivation of the pack was really to keep it together. Here, after Robin attacks, I was going to go again, but got caught on the wrong side of his wheel as he moved over, and then had to move back to the other side. At that point, I probably should have sat up, but I sent it pretty hard, and then came through the start finish with a little bit of a gap, so I kept the gas on, and talking to my director there that I'm not going to stop attacking. The main part of this move was really to like make the field bunch up and lose more time than they gained from me actually pulling, or if someone was on the front pulling in kind of a concentrated and constructive way. See, now we're like sitting up here, so time's going back out to the break that Cade's in, and then these little solo moves aren't really gonna do anything to bring it back in any constructive manner. And later on in that lap, it bunched up just like this. So the gap ended up going out to like 30-ish seconds, but it would start getting reeled back in once a few teams decided they were not happy with getting 7th in a sprint with the best result. So coming in to probably like 15-20 laps to go here, I've just heard over the radio that John, my teammate, is like sitting 5th wheel, and that we should probably start moving up to him. So I'm making that effort to get up to his wheel, and the break I can see is pretty close now. So staying up and towards the front, being prepared to follow counters or make a counter on your own, was kind of going to be our tactic here. and it's a few other teams' tactics. You can see Iman just kind of pushing wide into the corner there, and now I've got to get back to John's wheel. Their Ty is defending pretty well. Being in that spot was good for when we caught the break, and here we are catching the break. Kind of chatting with John here, telling him we should probably start taking it over so there wasn't crazy attacks going. Cade's been resting in this move, so I think he was saying his power was like within his endurance range in the break. He's not really pulling much at all, so he's had like a few good easy laps, and now our job is kind of to keep him fresh and ready for the sprint, which was challenging on this course. There, Tanner Ward sends a move out of the breakaway, so he was in the breakaway, we caught it, and he sends another move, like countering essentially his own move. So I've got to shut that down just because I'm at the front and ready to go, possibly roll with it if it looks like it's going to go, but this late into the race, and with everybody so fresh, the chances of that happening are pretty slim. We've got 13 laps to go here. See Texas Roadhouse on the wheel, and I think that's Robin back there as well, also on the wheel. We do get a little bit of a gap, but nothing that is significant enough to stick. And the group would just keep coming back together on this stretch, which did have pretty significant cross headwind. Coming in through less laps to go here, I think we have 6 or 7, and we're trying to stay together as a team. There's Colby, who's kind of pushing a Texas Roadhouse guy wide, trying to keep us together and his position defended. Staying on the Legion train, or whatever train was on the front, was super hard because you've got Miami Blazers, American Cycling Group, and Aviators all trying to hold that same wheel. So the swarm was pretty heavy here. You can see I'm getting kind of pushed into that barrier, and I'm separated from the rest of my team. So I've got nobody to kind of defend that wheel. We did end up getting a little bit closer to the front here, so there I just come around, get into John's wheel, and I kind of decide at this point that I'm going to at least try to take it over from Legion, see if they'll let us, but pushing like, 500-600 watts here next to Sam. He clearly wants to keep it more than I want to take it, so I'll let him have that corner and then just kind of push into his wheel, pushing Eder a little farther inside. I probably didn't need to do that, but it kind of kept our guys on the wheel, but eventually we would just get swarmed up again. So hoping that move actually sheltered our dudes a little bit better, even if it was slightly disruptive to the Legion train there. Eventually ACG, you can see back there, ACG actually hopped the interior curb. Go back just a little bit, so you can see on the inside in the rear camera, he like hopped on those cones there. So they were scouting out that line, trying to see if it was viable for maybe a late race something. I never saw anybody do that until last lap, which we'll go into. So coming in to the finish here, that looks like 7 to go now. So it's already getting real hectic with 7 to go. Everybody's trying to fight for that wheel. ACG is doing a better job than almost anyone else. There's Danny and his 2 teammates. They're all, really good at defending the wheel. And good sprinters in their own right. But I think for this, they're definitely going for Danny because he is, as you can see, in the leader's jersey for the American Criterium Cup. So they want to maintain him in that position. And there comes, one of their teammates just kind of getting me out of that rotation. And then Blazers up on the left with Monk. I think they've got, Connor, and probably Tanner in there too, trying to get their group together. Inside came Butcher Box. They were setting some pretty hard lines this entire weekend, really fighting for the best positions they could get, and we're being super aggressive holding their spots. You can see here they got a little disrupted in their train, a little separated, so that guy would have to make it back up, which was happening to a lot of different teams. The bumping and barging was pretty common in this spot. You can see, it would bunch up there, and then Ty's got to accelerate back onto his guy's wheel. It's a little better to be farther up in that, So being on that front train or being right behind the front train is going to be the best spot. And that's what everybody's going for, including these 4 teams up there. So we're trying to keep our guys together. I've got, I think, Cade, at least 2 of my teammates on my wheel here. Yeah, Cade on my wheel, who is kind of our designated sprinter, him and Sam for the race. So just keeping them protected and out of the wind, moving them up whenever we can. See Cade just going on the inside there, and when a teammate cuts on the inside, you give them as much space as you can, especially if it's your sprinter, just to kind of protect their energy reserves and let them have more spaces. You can see Cade moving farther up and in there, and ButcherBox is defending their train really hard from us, and I think that guy got a little antsy, started pedaling a little early with a little too much lean clip to pedal, and just um, sent her a little too hard. But such is defending your train as hard as you can from other teams. You can see a little slow motion action. Yeah, we're just sending a few too many guys into that corner, trying to pedal a little too early out of it and a little too bunched up. But hoping that guy's okay as well. Glad I made it through that one. Continuing with the race, that was about a lap and a half to go. So right now we're on the last few straights. We've got a good team presence here. At least 4 dudes all together. You can see Sam, who ended up being our top finisher. He's going to move up into the last few technical corners here around John. Um, Real fast here. Guys pulling off of the Legion train made it even more complicated. So once once you open up the sprint, which my sprint was pretty much opened up on that straight to move around John, um, and then into the finish straight, it's just a really long drag. And you can actually see here Danny Summerhill cutting the inside on the final corner, which was a pretty impressive line. That was quite a send, and he would actually cross the line first here in the sprint, which would be a little dramatic due to the fact that he cut that line. There was a protest at the end, and he would actually get relegated to fourth with Ty Magner taking the win of the race, but Danny Summerhill still winning the American Criterium Cup. Cool race, hard sprint, cool to have a breakaway go. Yeah, good weekend overall. Indy Crit was a blast. Thanks for watching. See ya.